Welcome to another episode of Out from the Horrorbox. I'm your Liminal Space host, Dom, and in this episode we take a look at the 2026 science fiction psychological horror film directed by Kane Parsons in his feature-length directorial debut, The Backrooms. Struggling with alcoholism and a recent divorce, furniture owner Clark accidentally discovers a portal in his basement that leads to the Backrooms, an infinite liminal dimension of yellow hallways and unsettling emptiness. After narrowly escaping an unseen creature, he recruits his assistant manager Kat and her boyfriend Bobby to document the space on camera as proof of his discovery. The trio quickly become separated when the same entity attacks, killing Bobby and dragging Clark and Kat deeper into the labyrinth. Clark eventually loses his sanity while being tormented by monstrous, imperfect copies of humans called still lives, leading to his therapist Mary to enter the Backrooms in a desperate rescue attempt. The film ends with Mary escaping the dimension after Clark is killed, only to be taken into custody by the mysterious Async Research Institute, which has been secretly monitoring the Backroom for years. So this is based on the creepypasta thread from the early 2010s. Kane Parsons, who was 16 years old at the time, released a short horror film titled The Backgrounds, found footage, in January 2022 that was uploaded to YouTube and quickly captured the attention of viewers worldwide. And as of May 2026, the video has accumulated over 78 million views on YouTube, cementing its status as a landmark piece of internet horror and launching Parsons into widespread recognition. There seems to be a thin light coming from my wall. Let's pass through and into the Backrooms. Between 2011 and 2018, a single enigmatic photograph circulated across various internet message boards and forums. This image depicted a large, seemingly infinite room covered in worn carpet, illuminated by harsh fluorescent lighting and divided by pale yellow walls. Then, on May 12, 2019, an anonymous user launched a thread on X, the paranormal-themed board of the online forum 4chan. The user asked fellow members to post disquieting images that just feel off, and accompanied the request with the now infamous photograph of the yellow room. In response to the original post, another anonymous user replied, giving the image its now iconic name and supplying the first ever written description of what would become known as the Backrooms. The user wrote, "If you're not careful, you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas. You'll end up in the Backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented, empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you." This haunting post, dated May 13th, 2019, would go on to spark one of the most enduring and expansive internet creepypasta phenomena of the modern era. In the aftermath of the original creepypasta's sudden popularity, users began sharing their own stories and interpretations of the Backrooms on various subreddits, including r creepypasta and later the dedicated r Backrooms. A passionate fandom rapidly developed around the concept, and creators began expanding far beyond the original iteration by devising additional floors or levels, each with unique properties as well as hostile entities that populated these ever-expanding spaces. As new levels proliferated within our Backrooms, a faction of purists, fans who preferred the original, simpler version of the Backrooms split off from the main community. One Reddit user named Litbeep created an alternative subreddit called Our True Backrooms for you true backroom enthusiasts out there, which focused exclusively on the original level-less interpretation. ABC News noted that, unlike fandoms built around established properties with clear canon, the lack of any official backroom source material made drawing a line between authentic storytelling and jokes particularly challenging. By March 2022, the main R Backrooms subreddit had grown to include over 157,000 members. The Backrooms fandom steadily expanded onto other platforms with the upload of videos and discussions on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Dedicated wikis hosted on Fandom and Wikidot, along with numerous Discord communities, were established to organize and develop the increasingly complex lore and world building of the Backrooms. These wiki function similarly to the SCP wiki, operating as fictitious, collaborative writing projects that any user can expand upon. Dan Erickson, the creator of the acclaimed television series Severance, has named the Backrooms as one of his many influences while developing the show's unsettling liminal aesthetic, and yeah, you can see it from there if you watch Severance. Until 2024, the true source of the original Backrooms photograph, the single image that inspired the entire phenomena, was not widely known. Although May 2024, a Twitter user announced in a now viral post that a friend had successfully discovered the image's origin. This discovery was the result of a combined effort within a Backrooms dedicated Discord community, which traced the image to an archived web page from March 2003 using the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. The image was found to have been taken during the renovation of a former furniture store in Wisconsin that featured numerous partitions and fake interior walls. For much of the 20th century, Roner's Home Furnishings occupied the buildings at 811 Oregon Street in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And in 2003, the property at 807 Oregon Street was acquired by a new tenant, a branch of the American hobby shop chain Hobbytown. Sometime in 2002, the second story of the building underwent extensive renovations. On June 12, 2002, the progress was photographed using a Sony CyberShot camera, and on March 2nd, 2003, various interior views were documented on the Oshkosh branch's official renovation weblog. One photograph in particular depicted a carpeted, open room with pale yellow wallpaper and harsh fluorescent lighting, captured on a Dutch angle, uploaded with the file name DSC00161.jpg. This image would go on to inspire the entire concept of the Backrooms. The image was captioned as an original view of the East Oval Room, with a note that no windows were visible. The blog entry also described extensive water damage in the area that had required the space to be entirely cleared. Hobbytown has since converted the facility into a radio-controlled car racing track called Revolution Racing, and the room's original layout featured in the photograph just no longer exists. So I guess you could say it no-clipped out of reality. On January 7th, 2022, Kane Parsons began uploading an anthological video series titled Backrooms onto his YouTube channel, Kane Pixels, with a concept directly based on the viral internet creepypasta of the same name. In February 2023, a feature film adaptation was officially announced as a joint production between A24, Churnin Entertainment, Atomic Monster, and 21 Labs Entertainment. Parsons was confirmed to direct, marking his feature-length directorial debut, with Roberto Patino attached to write the screenplay. The film was produced by horror veterans James Wan from Atomic Monster, Sean Levy from 21 Labs Entertainment, and Osgood Oz Perkins with Churnin Entertainment and A24 co-financing the project for a reported budget of under $10 million. In May 2025, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Kristen Milotti entered negotiations to star in the film. Ejiofor was confirmed the following month, with Will Sudik brought on to write the latest draft of the screenplay. Milotti's deal ultimately fell through, and Norwegian actress Renee Rensiv was cast in her place in June. Later that month, Mark Duplass, Finn Bennett, Lakita Maxwell, and Avon Yogia were added to the ensemble cast in various undisclosed roles. To authentically recreate the liminal space environments of the Backrooms, Parsons utilized the 3D software Blender, the same tool he employed for his original YouTube shorts, while production designer Danny Vermette adapted his digital designs for physical construction. More than 30,000 square feet of Backrooms sets were built across 4 separate sound stages for the film. Vermette compared the painstaking process of fitting the sets, which involved extensive wallpaper and 29,000 square feet of carpeting, much of it sourced locally in Canada to avoid the impact of U.S. tariffs, to playing a complex game of Tetris. The production design also emphasized vertically within the sets, making the actors' interactions with the environment more physically challenging and disorienting. Reportedly, people were frequently getting lost on set due to the maze-like repetitive design, and that'd be kind of crazy to just start wandering around that, right? Principal photography began in Vancouver, Canada on July 7th, 2025, under the working title Effigy, to conceal the project's true nature. Filming officially wrapped on August 14th, 2025, following a relatively swift but logistically intensive production schedule. So let's kind of wander in and see what we got.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
Hello? Anyone there?
Look, I know how this sounds, but you gotta understand, it's massive in there.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back here with proof.
All right, you feel me?
Yeah. Follow my lead.
Clark, what is this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been there every night since I found the place, and I still barely scratched the surface. All right, just take it slow.
Oh my God.
Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up! What do you see?
All these rooms. This place builds them. It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
Clark, can you hear me? What is this?
It's beautiful. Am I right?
Hello?
In 1999, researchers from the clandestine Async Research Institute review recovered footage from one of their own, a scientist named Naren Warren, played by Avan Yogia, while an expedition into a mysterious, sprawling interdimensional space known as the Backrooms. Naren became separated from his team and was ultimately killed by an unidentified and terrifying entity that lurks within its endless yellow-walled corridors. Furniture store owner Clark is a man in a crisis. He's played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, struggling to manage his worsening alcoholism and the emotional fallout from a recent divorce. He regularly attends therapy sessions with Dr. Mary Klein, played by Rena Rensiv, a psychologist who carries her own deep trauma from growing up with a schizophrenic mother and the subsequent demolition of her childhood home. While trying to keep his store financially afloat, Clark questions his electrician about the inexplicably high electrical bill and the persistent flickering of the store's lights. The electrician discovers 3 colored breaker switches installed at an odd angled position within the main distribution board. Switches that connect to absolutely nothing in the store. Having unofficially taken up residence at the store following his separation, Clark expresses a series of electrical disturbances that eventually lure him into the basement. There, he notices a strange, vertical slit in one of the walls. As he leans in to investigate, Clark phases directly through the wall and finds himself inside the Backrooms, a seemingly infinite maze of liminal spaces, uncanny hallways, and malformed, unsettling furniture. He discovers Naren's abandoned belongings and narrowly escapes back to the store when an unseen, predatory creature gives chase. Meanwhile, from a remote monitoring station, Async scientist Phil observes Clark's every move through a hidden surveillance camera. Phil is played by Mark Duplass. Clark attempts to tell Mary about his experience in the Backrooms, but is met with understandable skepticism. Determined to prove his claims, he recruits his assistant manager Kat and her boyfriend Bobby to accompany him with cameras to document the space. The duo are played by Lakita Maxwell and Finn Bennett, respectively. The trio enters the Backrooms and begins recording their eerie discoveries. While exploring a steeply sloped, seemingly endless corridor, Bobby is ambushed and apparently killed by the same entity that murdered Naren. The creature drags him, along with Clark and Kat, into an unexplored section of the labyrinth. Separating them in the chaos, Clark flees through a series of increasingly bizarre rooms, including an infinite pool-like chamber, but is pursued by several humanoid entities that corner him at a dead end. He hears Kat calling out to him and sets down his camera to search for her. An unknown presence then picks up the camera as Kat's voice screams for Clark to look behind him. Sometime later, Mary receives a voicemail from Clark stating simply that he will not be returning. Alarmed, she visits his store and discovers the slit in the wall, entering the Backrooms herself. While wandering through its endless halls, she finds Clark, now completely insane, who attacks and chokes her unconscious. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Phil is watching television with his family when he is shocked to recognize Clark from a commercial advertisement for his furniture store. Mary awakens to find herself tied up in a space that has been crudely fabricated to resemble a dining room. Clark is there, accompanied by the still life, imperfect, uncanny copies that the Backroom generates from humans. After revealing Kat's severed head, Clark demands that Mary continue their therapy sessions through forced roleplay. However, Mary refuses to indulge him, instead chastising Clark about his litany of excuses for his personal failures, which she identifies as the real reason his wife left him. For a brief moment, Clark regains his sanity and frees Mary, but their escape is interrupted by the arrival of a large, more grotesque still life, a deformed, humanoid copy of Clark dressed in a pirate costume. Clark is killed while attempting to calm the monstrous pirate entity. Mary flees through increasingly surreal spaces, injuring her ankle in the process. Cornered in a replica of the furniture store's showroom, she fights off the pirate by accidentally triggering a gas trap and using a chunk of cement she has kept as a memento from her demolished childhood home. After escaping, she encounters a team of async scientists in hazmat suits, who manage to contain the pirate and take her back with them to their headquarters. Mary is brought into an interrogation room where she meets Phil, who explains that Async was originally a company that developed MRI machines. Their mission changed dramatically upon the discovery of the Backrooms, shifting to a new objective: to map the entirety of the extra-dimensional space. Phil also reveals that there have been increasing reports of new doors into the Backrooms opening throughout the surrounding area. Mary, still in a dazed state, initially cooperates with the interrogation but stops short when she realizes that she may be killed after providing all the information they want. In a final, haunting sequence, the film shows several new rooms inside the Backrooms, each one a distorted replica of buildings from Mary's memories, alongside a newly formed still life of Mary herself, sitting silently in a poorly copied version of the interrogation room. Now let us move on to some trivia about the film The Backrooms and learn some things about the behind the scenes, the production, and the actors. Mark Duplass defended Kane Parsons from online rumors that he did not actually direct the movie. Duplass replied to a user, with all due respect, I don't remember seeing you on set. When I was there, Kane was 100% in control, more so than many directors 3 times his age. Duplass added, You may like this movie, you may not, but you should know that Kane Parsons is the one and only director. And I'm going to get into it more in my final thoughts, but yeah, I just feel like some people are jealous that, this 20-year-old got to make a full-length feature film when you should be celebrating, that they're actually like supporting the younger generation now. They're actually trying to get these young guys in and not just giving Spielberg another movie, which he did make, which wasn't bad. It was pretty good. But you know what I mean? Like, what we shouldn't just be bringing back old directors. Their time is done. We need new young blood, and I think with this, seeing just this, he did a pretty good job. And that's coming from another director. Mark Duplass is a director as well, and a creator and writer, producer, actor. He's done all of it, and the stuff he's done. Creep is amazing. Creep 2. I haven't watched the series, but he's great, and the stuff he comes up with is amazing. But yeah, and to have praise from him, I feel like would be a win. The production built around 30,000 square feet of backrooms, which led to some crew members occasionally getting lost on set. I know I mentioned that earlier, but I just wanted to bring it up again because just imagine building, not only just setting out to build this, right? To plan it, to build the sets, but to build them as the back rooms, to confuse, to be empty, to be scary, right? and just like try filming that, and then like, yeah, you're like, what happens if you got lost on set? Like, I would be so scared to go in there every day. I mean, not every day, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a kind of scary. It's a scary concept because like, there's something in our brains that like when we see, like, I think it has to do where when, back when we're like in this, if we were in an open space, you can see like in the night in the dark from like the fire glow only lit up so much, and like beyond that, like you can't see too much and you don't know what's there, right? I feel like that's maybe where we get that liminal idea of like this emptiness, and maybe even from the caves, like you don't know what's further on into the caves either. You could just get lost in there too. But who knows? Who knows how our brains came up with this concept of like the liminalness, this emptiness, this space that's between spaces is scary, right? But like, just imagine being like, guys, where am I? The Brazilian Portuguese title is a non-place, referencing the namesake neologism coined by French anthropologist Marc Aguirre to refer to an anthropological spaces of transience where human beings remain anonymous and do not hold enough significance to be regarded as places in their anthropological definition. Man, that's a lot of big words. The examples of like non-places would be motorways, hotel rooms, airports, shopping malls. And now just picture those places and they're just empty. Just imagine one time, okay, for hotel rooms. One time I went to Disney World and it was just me by myself. My sisters went to go eat at some restaurant and I didn't want to eat there. It was a little expensive. So I was like, I need to eat somewhere a little bit cheaper. So I went by myself, right? It's in one of the hotels there. And as I was going through trying to get back to where, like, not just like the buses are, but like trying to just, first I was kind of looking around and then I was trying to just get back to where I was. At one point, because these hotels are very massive, they're meant to hold a lot of people. And so at one point, I got lost. I just started going through like hallways and oh, here's another, yep, there's another space. Oh, there's another turn. Oh, there's another hallway here. Do I go there? Do I go there? There's a split right here. And eventually I got to a point where it just dead ended. And it creeped me out because I was like, well, yeah, sure, there could be people in these rooms, but there also could not be. And I had to work my way back, and it was just very creepy unto itself. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to really get fully lost in this hotel. Eventually, somebody would probably find me and be like, what are you doing? But I did eventually find my way back to where the buses were, and I was like, I got to get back to my hotel because this hotel is freaking me out. But yeah, it's very creepy to be in a space where it's not that nobody's around, it's just that no one's around at that time because it was the middle of the day, so probably everyone was at the parks. And then I also happened to be like getting myself lost. But yeah, just imagine like these spaces we go to and they're just empty and who knows what could appear. On the POV scene of Clark running away from Captain Clark, the shot takes a quick glimpse of some rooms which are a recreation of the original images compositions posted on the 4chan thread. Wow, that's kind of crazy. So they're just like recreations of like from that 4chan thread of the original post of like give me other like places that look creepy or whatever. They just like kind of recreated that, which kind of explains why there's just randomly like a Christmas tree at one point. But it does make for like a kind of creepy thing. Like when he gets to these parts and he gets to these scenes, it's just like they are very creepy. Like they come out of nowhere, and then like there's just like the bodies kind of in the ground and stuff, and it's just, what's going on here? What are we doing? What's going on here? The film reveals that Async made MRI machines before discovering the Backrooms. Their early experiments around it involved magnets, a key component of MRI machines. Additionally, the threshold is likely a modified MRI machine, and the threshold, I think, comes from the lore of Kane's like videos from YouTube. Because just to get into it a little bit more, I know that after he posted like the first one, as he got further into like the mythology of it that we know of with Async, is that they built, like, when they kind of discovered like the space or whatever, they built like this thing that could open a wall, like a space through the wall, and that's how they got through. I think we see it at the very end when they bring Mary back through, and like that's how they get back. That's how they're able to get in and out, and that's why they wear the hazmat suits and they're able to put all their equipment down and stuff, because they have like a space, like a space to recognize, like that they can recognize to go through. Like Clark had to like tape up and like, so you know where it was in the space in the basement. But they created like an actual wall, like a doorway that like opens, and they're able to move through it. But yeah, I'd love to learn more about like what happened that they found that like soft space for them to pass through, and what did it look like before, and like what more experiments did they do with these magnets that cause them to eventually create that doorway, right? Like, I love that there's all these questions, and maybe we'll get some answers, but maybe we won't. Who knows? But for now, let's move on to my final thoughts. So I remember kind of hearing about the Backrooms from like early stuff, not too much anything like ridiculous. This is prior to, the video, or like the video, the YouTube. Because I can remember like just like things here and there. Like it wasn't anything crazy. I just remember it being like a creepy pasta or something, right? Then I did end up seeing, when it came out, the video that Kane put out, and I was like, whoa. Because I think it came up on something, and it was like someone made a video about the Backrooms, and it's pretty good. Like no clipped out of reality, and like it's like, whoa, what? And like, yeah, it's like it was, and it's a decent short. Like the kids are making some movie, we don't know. It's just some random kids, right? And then the one kid who has the camera, he's backing up and just like falls through the ground, and he's in the Backrooms then. And it's him like, walking around, checking things out at first, like trying to find a way back. And as he goes, it just gives you this unsettling feeling. It's just off-putting. It just doesn't make any sense where he's going. And then he starts hearing things, and then he starts seeing things on the walls, like pointing into their directions. And then he sees like a creature wandering around, and he starts freaking out, starts running away from it. And then we get him just running away from this thing. And as he's going through, and like it's just getting closer and closer, and he's getting further and further in as he goes down further and up and around and all the ways about. And then he finds like this like space where it's like exits or something. it's just it's really crazy. Like there's like infinite space, and then as he keeps going, and then like it gets him, and then like we see at the very end like the camera falling from the sky, and then just it hits the ground and it ends. And Kane made more, shorts was part of the series, and they got more elaborate, and they got more creepier, and like I've seen some of them, so you haven't seen a lot of them. I watched a couple videos about like the lore behind it before. I didn't really get super into it, but I thought it was creepy. I liked it a lot. And then when they announced they were going to do Backrooms as a movie, I was like, all right, cool. I don't know how you would make a Backrooms movie, but I can't wait to see it. I want to see how they're going to do it. And then slowly as we got it, I didn't realize that they got Kane to direct it until like leading up to the film coming out. And I was like, yeah, if you're going to get someone to do it, why not just get the original person who made it originally? Because from there, people made their own videos, right? They made their own shorts. They made their own whole things, TikToks, whatever, here and there on all over the place now. It exploded, and they were making their own. But there's the original original YouTube, and then the series that he created after that. So, they went to him, brought him in, gave him money, and then I think the writer's strike kind of stalled it for a little bit. And then, because I think they were trying to get him to do it, I think like a couple years ago. I think back in like 22, 21. I'm not sure. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But yeah, they get him, and then it gets stopped for a little bit, but then it comes back. Perfect. And I see the trailer. That first trailer was upsetting. Not scary. It's just like it is what you would think like a trailer for the Backrooms should be. Like it's unsettling the way it's like moving through the layers, and as it goes, it's just, and it leads into the Backrooms. It's just true intelligence for giving like a monologue. Perfect. Then we got more like longer trailers, and we got to see more of it, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? This doesn't look terrible. This looks pretty good. And then, next thing I know, it comes out, and I'm seeing it, and I'm loving it. I thought this was very good. It was well put together. I think the story is pretty good. It leaves you wanting more from it. I could see how some people might be like, oh, well, this and that, here and there for certain little things. But it's what you would expect from a Backrooms movie. Like, there's enough mystery to get you questioning to want, like, another one. There's enough, like, interpretation you can go through with, like, the still lives. And then, like, the Captain Clark, too, because it's different from the still lives. It's not the same, we know, because one thing that Clark points out is that you can, like, well, I guess you can eat the still lives, like, you can pull their flesh off and eat it, and it's just like kind of stuffing or something, or some kind of something that he's obviously eaten, I guess maybe more of them. He had to have found out by eating one of them, right? But when we see when the Captain Clark attacks Mary, and she's hitting him, and it's bleeding, and we know that they were able to like kill it, not just subdue it. They were able to kill it because we get to see at the end, it's lying on the table dead, and we also see like the MRI scans of its body, and like it has like bones, and it has like veins and stuff, and like nerves and whatever. And so, is it alive? Is this the closest that the Backroom has come to creating an actual creature, like a living creature, not just a still life creature? because Clark was in there for so long, maybe it was able to get more of him than normal. Is and then like so like is this obviously we know that it's taking memories from Clark, right? And that's why we see like the sales signs. We see there's one point where it's literally almost a exact recreation of the furniture store, like the upper level, the when you walk in, where she gets to a point where she can't keep going until there's like a little slit on the side, and that's where they're able to set up that trap that sprays Captain Clark with gas or something. And then there's a point where it exactly copies like the street that and like the little apartments, bungalows that Kat and Bobby live in. So it's also like absorbing them, and then we see later, like obviously, it's starting to absorb her memories too. So is it based on how long you've been there? That's what it is. That's how it's taking this. Who knows? That's what I love, and like I love like with async and all that, and like what are they doing with what were they doing with the magnets, right? What were they experimenting that they found this place? Like, and obviously Mark Duplass's character knows more than he's letting on, and she's right. Like, as soon as they get their answers to what they want, they're gonna get rid of her. So that's when she like stops answering their questions. But then it's like, so if you watch the original YouTube short or the YouTube video, you know that there's like I don't know what it's called, but it's like the original creature that was there. It's like some kind of other life. So is that like becoming the Captain Clark? Is there something that's already there that is becoming that? I would like, honestly, I could watch another one of this that just keeps going into like the mythos, even if it was a new person, and then it's like they meet like Async also, and like they kind of just give you just another little hint here and there. And then honestly, I gotta give him congratulations. Like this guy at 20 years old, you know, you've been putting things on YouTube for a while. Hey, you get to make a movie now. Awesome. And I hate, and I think it's just people who are jealous of this 20-year-old who's doing something with their life that they didn't get to do, and they're not doing it. Either they're not doing anything with their life, or they didn't do anything with their life, and they're just jealous, and they just need to get over themselves, because this is ridiculous that like you can't just be happy for somebody who's like, you know, did this thing and then got recognized for it. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want like, hey, we see that you're doing good with like this thing that you made. Let's help you. And I know that, yeah, I wish that somebody would like see something that I've done and be like, you got to get this guy. This guy's pretty good. But I mean, you can't be mad at people for, you know, being noticed and then just getting something out of that. I don't know. I think that whole thing is stupid. Also, I think people saying that it's like blackface, that the guy who plays Captain Clark is a white guy who had to put on like a outfit to play the Captain Clark. That's ridiculous, because it's not him in blackface, like just black with a caricature of a mouth, you know, and he's all, oh, it's me, it's Clark, you know, he's not doing stuff like that. He's not acting like a caricature. It's like, it's supposed to be a replica, or this space's idea or replication of him, this idea of him, and I mean, it doesn't even look real. It looks fake-ish enough that I would never call this blackface. That's ridiculous that people say this. It's stupid. I think that's dumb. And then other people's just complaints about like, oh, really wasn't like a story or this or that, or like they're just like trying to make it seem like this or that, and it's like, no, like, don't you understand? Like, I'm pretty sure what it is that this space was created from whatever experiments they were doing, async, and it's like one of their machines, one of their MRI. It's like scanning people, and it's trying to like an image, trying to recreate the things that it's scanning, which is your brain and the memories you have, and it's trying to recreate that place as a real place, and those things that are and then so it'll create the space, it'll create the furniture and the things that inhabit it, like that, like beds, lamps, Christmas trees, right? And then it's trying to replicate people, and it gives these still lifes, which are non-people. They're just things that are meant to like in a photograph, like you see like that you see like when you're buying a picture frame, that you would just have like that fake picture that just sits in there to when you buy it. I feel like it's like that. That's what the still lives the space is trying to create them like. It's not like trying to make that. It's like it's trying to make humans, is trying to make from their memories. And I think that's what they are like. That's why they're still lives. And then I think that the Captain Clark is more, okay, we're going to make a being. We're going to make a human being. An actual one, because we have one who's been down here just alive. And we're going to take everything from him as much as we can. We're going to keep scanning him over and over until we can get it right. And it doesn't get it right. It just can't get it right. Maybe that's just my interpretation. But, I mean, that's what I'm getting from it. And if you're, I don't know, I've heard some wackier things about it. And I'm like, I don't think that's right. But I think Mary's mom might have gone into the Backrooms at one point, because she says something weird about like they're out there, or like, because when she's trying to look outside, like she says, oh, they might see you, or they might follow us, or something like that. And then there's a point where there's like furniture and stuff like blocking a way that's kind of looks the same like from her childhood. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking a little bit more into it than I should, but this movie is so good. It's, I mean, I'm going to talk about Obsession in another video, or another episode, because I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. They came out at similar points, and they're from two directors who started on like YouTube, TikTok, social media, right, from like the internet space. And we're given this chance to expand their ideas. And I think this one does it in a way that's very enjoyable. I think this one, to me, because it's so nebulous and so off-putting, and you could throw things in here. Like, you could throw something in here, like, out of nowhere. That could be the scariest shit ever, I feel like. Because it's just space and within space within space. That it could be anything. I give it 4.5 out of 5, because this is just great. This is just a great movie. I loved it. Everyone does a great job. Great job to the first time director. Mark Duplass does a great job. Renee Renzo. It's crazy that she was just nominated for an Oscar, and you pulled an Oscar nominee. And Chiwetel. I don't think he won an Academy Award, but I think he was nominated too. He was in a Best Picture winning film with 12 Years a Slave. And that movie's great. But yeah, so good. If you have not watched it and you're still listening to this, go watch it. Go watch the original ones. Go watch some of them. They're pretty scary. They're pretty creepy. Did you watch the original video on YouTube? Are you into the lore of the Backrooms? Would you explore the Backrooms? I know I would peek inside and probably turn around, never looking back. We want to thank you all for listening, and if you like what you hear, please subscribe to get every new episode downloaded. Do you have any personal or fictional, paranormal, supernatural, or unexplainable stories? We'd love to read them on the podcast. Please send your stories, recommendations, or anything else to horrorboxpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to show more support, you can follow our socials on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, or check our YouTube channel, all at Horrorbox Podcast on all sites. Also, you can buy me a coffee at coffee.com/horrorboxpodcast. It really helps out. Until next time, leave the extra dimensional space alone. This is Dom, signing off from the Horrorbox.
I'm sorry. What are you doing in here? This is Mary. She's our therapist. She was just leaving. No. You don't have to worry. She says we don't need to change. It's okay. It's just the way we're wired.